In this video tutorial, I'm going to teach you how to install the Android SDK and get ADB Shell up and running. ADB Shell basically stands for Android Debugging Bridge, and if you turn on USB debugging on your Android device and connect it to your computer with ADB Shell, it allows it to communicate with one another. The Android SDK basically includes developer tools such as creating Android apps and other tools like the ADB Shell is included. So if you're looking to root your device or modify in any way, and say an XDA, a developer's like, okay, you gotta connect your device to ADB Shell, and then from there copy in this code. A lot of the times they don't explain how to get the ADB Shell up and running. So this is what I'm gonna do in this video, and before you can even begin any of that, you need to go to Google, type in Java, click the first link, and download Java. You must have Java installed on your computer in order to continue. Okay, so once that's done, just go to Google and type in Android SDK. Click the first result. I'm doing the method for Windows. I tend to use the zip file. The exe file is not a big deal, and we'll continue from there. Okay, so when you open the zip file, when it's completely downloaded, you're gonna extract it. I suggest you put it to directly on your C drive. You can put it in My Documents or your desktop, but it's a lot easier to access it in command prompt through C drive, and I'll explain that later on in the video. So I'm just gonna extract it there. Navigate to where you unzipped it. Go to Android SDK. Okay, this is the part where you need Java installed for. If you try double-clicking the SDK manager without Java, it's not going to run. With Java up and running, it should work. And as you can see, it's up and running, and it's like connecting to Android or Google, whoever, and it's downloading a whole bunch of stuff. Well, actually not downloading, but detecting rather. And from here, what you want to do is pretty much select everything. If you're not looking to develop, you shouldn't need the Android API too much, but there's no harm in downloading it all, right? The most important thing you need is the Android SDK tools and the Android SDK platform tools. These are like, you must have them no matter what. And once that's done, you just click install packages, and everything should be check marked here. And you get a whole bunch of drivers, I forgot to mention. Devices like the Nexus 1, I believe, actually the Nexus series, I think you can get your drivers through here. Some devices like, I don't know, my Samsung Galaxy S2, you need the manufacturer's drivers, such as Samsung Keys, I think HTC's HTC Sync, I'm not even sure, but just download everything and we'll continue from there. Okay, so the SDK manager took a while to finish because I selected a lot of the tools, but at the ending of it, it said that not all the tools could be installed because you gotta close the SDK manager and reopen it again, and then reselect the ones that didn't install. Don't worry about it. The essential things, like I said, are these two right here: the Android SDK tools and the Android SDK platform tools. The API, I think, is more for app development, and a lot of it's more drivers for phones, so we're not going to get into that right now. So you can close this up. So if you're still in the Android SDK folder, there's a folder here that says Platform Tools, double click that, and here it says ADB. The ADB shell is located within this. So let me show you what happens when you try to open it. See, it just opens and just closes immediately. Alright, so you can't just simply navigate in Windows and open it up. You have to use command prompt. So if you're on Windows XP, I think it's, if I can't remember, I'm trying to remember, I think it says run somewhere here, and you have to type in CMD. Otherwise, for Windows 7, I believe Vista is the same. Just type in CMD in the search. You're gonna open this result, cmd.exe, and right now this is command prompt. Right now command prompt's like, I'm in the users folder, but we don't want to do that. We want to go to C drive, then Android SDK, but right now we're in C drive, then users. So to navigate backwards in command prompt, type cd ... Now we're in the users folder, so cd ... Okay, now we're in the C drive. I'm gonna type it over and over again for those of you who are newbies to this, so just follow along. So now we want to navigate to the Android SDK. So what we're gonna do is cd, type Android SDK, Windows. Now command prompt's like, okay, I'm in the Android SDK Windows folder, but we need to go to platform tools. So now you're gonna type cd space platform tools. Okay, you're in the platform tools folder, and this is where ADB is. So all you do here is type ADB, enter. There, you got the exact same stuff that flashed before, but this time it didn't close. You've actually accessed the ADB shell. So from here on out, I can't really tell you what to do because that depends on what type of modding you're doing and what the developer says. But this is how you access the ADB shell now. So as you can see, it's really easy. I mean, it's a little time consuming, but to get this far is so simple. One thing to note is when it comes to rooting or pushing a ROM to a device, the ADB shell is a little bit longer. Sometimes developers will have more than one method, but using ADB to push it to your device, I've never had a problem once. ADB and USB debugging on my Android device has worked 100% of the time. So that's how you get ADB shell working and getting the Android SDK on your computer. And like I said, if you want to dabble in some Android development, you're gonna have to follow up the instructions on the Android website, how to install the Android SDK via Eclipse. Eclipse is like a programming tool used for making Java programs, Android programs, etc. So that's a totally different topic. But if you